Hey guys, welcome to Catherine Brennan here, Intelligent Property Training. You might hit subscribe and the notifications bell if you'd like to be kept informed when we've a new video up. Today we're going to chat about Ireland versus the UK in terms of flipping properties. So lots of you may have watched Homes Under the Hammer or things like this from the UK. I know the Property Brothers and those are US based. So what happens is people, I suppose they watch the programs and sometimes they're interested. They like the look of that lifestyle, you know, projects, earning a nice chunk of profit all in one go. But then sometimes they sort of start to look into it and they realise it's not the same in Ireland, and then they just give up completely. So let's pick the UK, our nearest neighbours, because they're more similar, but yet there are radical differences. So we do full training from complete beginner to teaching people to be competent in flipping properties and doing assisted sales, which is a related type of thing where the previous owner is still the owner of the property, but you bring the property to market with them. So you do the renovation, you look after all the staging, the decor, all the work that needs to be done, you fund all that, and then you share in the uplift of the profits. So the general things that are the big differences between Ireland and the UK, I suppose, are as such. The number one thing is there are far more distressed sellers in the UK. So you hear all this talk about motivated sellers and distressed sellers and handing out leaflets and putting up bandit boards in your area and all this type of thing. If you'd ever been exposed to any UK training, you'd have come across all of this. And you think, oh God, I don't think that would work in Ireland. People wouldn't go for that here. You're sort of right. There are definitely people answering these ads and people picking up leads in these ads. But the thing is that we're generally less motivated to sell. And the big reason is our banking system is different for arrears on mortgages. So if you're in difficulties in Ireland on a mortgage, you can be in difficulties for 3-4 years and nothing significant will have even happened. So people don't get into a big tizzy and take a loss on the property and sell it to you so you can turn it over quickly and make a big profit. It is a little bit harder work than that here to find them. There are still plenty of distressed properties, but the training you do in the UK won't explain those things to you properly, because we handle that completely different. So what you need to bear in mind here is that our mortgage arrears situation is that you could be in arrears for, as I say, several years. In the UK, after 2 to 3 months, you'll be up for court soon. They probably will get possession of the property much easier than they would in Ireland. We have a culture of not liking to take people's houses off them. Even with buy-to-lets, it's actually quite hard for the banks to get possession of stuff, even if you're in arrears. The negative side of that is that we pay way higher interest rates because the large banks don't want to come to Ireland and lend because they've realised how hard it is to get your money back even if the people don't pay you. So that's one big difference between Ireland and the UK in terms of flipping. Another significant difference is finance. In the UK, now mortgages were never meant for flipping in any country in the world. Mortgages are meant for buy-to-lets, for HMOs, for things you're hanging on to. But in the UK, because they have equity release still, which we don't, they also have bridging loans. Because of all these things, an investor in the UK is easy for them to get cash back out of other deals to invest in flips. In Ireland, if you're going to be flipping, you're either going to be doing it with your own money or you're going to be borrowing money off an investor to do it. It's as simple as that. There is no magic way to fund flips without that. For assisted sales, as I say, there's way less money down required, so it is a more creative solution, and that is covered in all our training on flips assisted sales. Drop us a message if you want any information on that. Another difference is the speed of conveyancing in Ireland and the UK. In Ireland, a conveyance can take a considerable length of time. We still have to manually get deeds from a bank. If the property is a negative equity, they might not even release the deeds. You'll have to start having conversations with them about what's going to happen to the balance. So there's quite a long, convoluted process in Ireland. In the UK, Conveyancing is now all electronic, so conveyance can literally be done in a couple of weeks, can be done really fast and efficiently. So when I'm teaching people in Ireland, my course aims to teach them how to do 3 flips per annum with just the one set of money, which means they only have 4 months on each flip. Now they have to be super duper organised to do that, because you need them to be closing very fast in order to pay for the next one, get into the next one, etc, etc. So that is a significant difference in Ireland. The buyers are not, the sellers are not at the same levels of distress. Usually repossession and divorce are the 2 top reasons in the UK, or people are moving to another area of the UK. I don't even believe we move around as much for work. You know, we'll be more likely to change jobs than follow a job, I think, in Ireland. Also, when you do see things that might be suitable to flip, it's actually quite hard to fathom out the comparable values. In the UK, they've all these property registers which will literally tell you every house on the road that was sold and how much it was sold for, and you'll even be able to go back and see the condition. In Ireland, we've a property price register, but that doesn't actually give you, it gives you an address and an amount of money, but you won't know if an estate had 2, 3 and 4 bed houses, you won't necessarily know which one was sold for that price. You also won't know the condition on if it's 2 years ago and the ad has now vanished off online. So flipping in Ireland and England, I do think you have to be a bit more creative yourself in Ireland. Now our course goes through all of that training, where you'll find them, how you'll find them, you know, getting some direct from the sellers, getting some through agents. But don't be put off by the fact that you realise there are differences. The differences can all be handled, and there is most definitely money to be made flipping in Ireland. The question you have to really ask yourself is, go on Daft and look at the property that's for sale in your area, whatever area springs to mind. Now, we normally teach people that they're going to go to an area of a certain population, so that things are turning over all the time. It's no good having a beautiful house for sale in a town where only 1 house a year sells. But equally, you do not have to be in the cities. I had a guy contact me recently who said he didn't think you could flip in rural Ireland. That's not true at all. There are loads and loads of places with enough volume to make a living flipping houses. You mightn't do 20 a year, but if you do 3, you probably have made a lot more money than you did this year at your current job. We work in everything from kind of a town of 1,500, 2,000 people up to doing flips in Dublin. And to be honest, they're sometimes easier in the small towns, because the tradesmen are more readily available. People know who you are. When I talk to the agent and something needs to be listed, it's done straight away. It gets priority, and also it's easier to stand out. There's actually less competition in terms of being really well presented and nicely staged than there is in Dublin. So I'm very, very pro-rural flipping in Ireland. Because also it keeps you near home. It means you can pick where you want to live. You don't have to live in Dublin. And your cost of living, of course, will be way lower if you decide to migrate to flipping houses and you want to live in the Midlands or something. Your own costs will be way lower. But there are differences, undoubtedly, but do not be put off by the difference. There's plenty of people in our group flipping houses in Ireland. They're in Tipperary, they're in Cork, they're in Mullingar, they're in Dublin. But they're actually competing with each other in Dublin. Most of the rest of us aren't competing with anybody. I'm in Mayo. We have someone in Sligo. We've Galway. Lots and lots of different people in different Donegal. Lots of people in lots of different places. So do not be put off by thinking that flipping is only for cities. It's not only for cities. Pop us a message if you'd like information. Our course is Flipping Assisted Sales by Refurbish Refinance, so it goes through all the steps of finding, sourcing things, negotiation, what would be a realistic goal for a year, what realistic goal per house, what jobs to do, what jobs not to do, how you'll sell them, how you'll make sure they sell faster than everyone else's, and taxes and legal and all of that type of information. So pop us a message if you'd like more information on that, but do not be put off flipping. I absolutely love flipping. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had, I would say. And I'm an accountant, a financial advisor. I had loads and loads of desk jobs for years. I had an accountancy practice. I just absolutely love flipping to be out and about doing things, seeing them transform compared to be in a well of paperwork is really, really refreshing. So pop us a message if you want any more information, guys. Thanks.